What up? Welcome to my experience when Lil Wayne went to jail. Now, this was a different time in music. We all know the year, we all know the circumstances. We don't got to get in that. Just basically, as a fan of him, I want to talk about what I went through. I didn't really go through anything. It's just the music industry kind of was in a dry place, you know what I mean? And nobody wanted to see him go to jail, but I mean, he did what he had to do, and he went to jail. And we didn't know what was going to happen as far as music. We didn't know what was going to happen as far as the album or anything. But we see what happened with album he put out, the music, and we all was like, okay, that's cool, whatever. We definitely was anticipating him, coming back to the industry, coming back to the game, and basically taking it over or whatever, what have you. But it just seemed like music was just boring. We all know the year. It was a lot of music that was out, and that was good to listen to. But Wayne was just something in hip hop that, a staple in it that he made it interesting. He made it unique. This is before all the new artists, new generation artists was there. I mean, we had a lot of other weird music, the ringtone rap and the dance craze and all that weird shit. But Wayne definitely was everywhere, far as music, and he made it exciting. He made you want to listen to other people's songs because he was going to be on them, and he made you want to, listen to this and like this and do this. He was a trendsetter in the case, for a lot of shit that goes on now that he was basically the poster boy for. But me being me as a fan of him, it's like music to me was boring. All I did was listen to a lot of old mixtapes, old albums, features and things like that. I made my own mixtapes with some of his best verses, songs, and just basically I have a shitload of Wayne shit from when he was in jail. You know what I mean? Music just wasn't the same. You like, damn. I actually went to get this cover. It was sold out. I was definitely mad about that shit, and I was like, fuck. You know what I mean? I was kind of late. I didn't feel like I wanted to go, really look for it online, but definitely was sad that he got in a situation, and I didn't really care about music at that point. I kind of really didn't listen to it. I was, doing other things like that, and we all waited for the day that, he would get out of jail. And as soon as that day came, it was kind of amazing because once he got out, this Rolling Stone magazine, which I have today, bought when it came out. I wanted to read this, and he was in Vegas during the Drake concert. So all that made this experience for me awesome to be in Vegas when Lil Wayne is actually getting out of jail. It's rumored that he's going to the Drake concert, Drake last concert. So I knew that we was going to Vegas, me and my girlfriend. Shout out to her. She made this a great experience. And I was like, yo, let's try to go to the concert. Of course, the concert was sold out. We didn't actually get to make it, but to just be there around the atmosphere, everybody's amped. You can see everybody a Wayne fan. They got the T-shirts on. They playing his music because it's rumored that he's gonna be, in Vegas, and this brought out a lot of different people, and this the radio itself was just saying we don't know if he's gonna be here. He may be here, but I didn't really give a shit. I was in Vegas. You know what I mean? So I was excited just about that. So I'll go look for this magazine. This was a very hard magazine to find in Reno. I mean not Reno, but Vegas. For some reason, it just was selling out. And I think I ended up at, I want to say, Barnes and Nobles, and they really don't have magazines like that. But for some reason, they had this issue there, and I went and bought it and I read it. The article is crazy. Like just the part about him being in jail, getting out of jail, and the first thing he did when he got out, shout out to the female that he was talking to. That Wayne Cotter is a gentleman. And I was reading this shit, looking at my girl like, yo, you gotta read this shit. This nigga crazy, right? It was a good interview, So we go out, it's nighttime, the concert done started already. You just see the strip was just packed with people, and it just was a great feeling. You can just talk to people about Wayne music, the songs that they like. You hear them playing them all throughout the clubs and on the strip, and it just was a good feeling, man. And then I was like, music is finally, back to, normal, shit like that. You dig? And I was like, wow, what is he gonna do as far as the music now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is he gonna drop a new album? Is he gonna be on singles? We didn't know, I mean, we see what happened now, but at that moment in time, we didn't know really what he was gonna do. Was one of the most great moments because he's a rapper from my generation, from my era, ever since the Hot Boys first album, Get It How You Live. So, of course, I was more amped than anything to see him come back and deliver and do what he do, man. And we see where he at now. Hopefully we get that Carter 5 soon, but this is my experience when he went to jail. One.